Hello, Mr. Eric, Mr. Mommy, Miss Mommy. Are you alright? Today we talk about intervals, okay? Intervals. So we want to find out, we are given a list of intervals, we want to find out the most frequent numbers in the range. And if there's a tie, we need to return the smallest number. Let's give an example, okay? Like 1 to 2. Okay, let's draw a line, okay? This is x. So let's say 1 to 2. Okay, this one, this the square bracket means inclusive, right? And what's this mean? What's this? Parentheses.
Tuple.
Exclusive. Remember?
It's
Yeah.
tuple.
Yeah, tuple you do it like that, but what I'm talking about is the exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we only find in this given intervals there's only integers, right? It only contains the integers. So 1, 2. So we put the 1 here, 2.
3.
Right? 1, 2. So two numbers, 1, 2. Okay. And okay, if this is 1, 3. Okay, 1, 3. Okay, so what's the most frequent number in this range?
1, 2.
1 and 2. And then, as we said, we want to return the smallest number if there's the tie. So we return 1. Got it? Do you understand this problem? Yeah. How are we doing this?
The same thing as you did.
So what I'm doing here? Yeah, good job. What I'm doing here?
Setting it out and just.
Setting all the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And we need to mark the counter. So look, if it's 1, 2. So what happens if 1, 2? 1, 2, I plus 1 here, right? Right? And then I need to plus 1 here, but I need to minus 1. I need to restore the previous one, right? And then look at 1, 3 is plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, okay? So if we use the dictionary, right? If we use the dictionary to remember the intervals. So what I mean remember the intervals is that given the start point, we set this, if the dictionary is D, we set the star plus equal 1. And the end plus 1. Look, if it's D n plus 1, the endpoint, look, if it's 1, 2, and I need to drop to the previous level, previous counter at the 3, because it doesn't, the interval does not continue at 3. You need to minus equals 1, right? So then if we have a counter scanning, if we have a line, just imagine if there's line, right, sweeping from the left to the right, and every time we accumulate the counter, right? And at this point, then we know the number of times the number appears at the number, right? Yeah. Get it? Do you want me to explain it one more time? Look. So given this 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, I have a dictionary. D1 plus equals 1. So D is the dictionary, okay? D1 plus equals 1. So 1, right? D1, the end is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So D3 minus equals 1. The 3 will be minus equals 1, right? Got it? Okay, 1, D1 plus equals 1. 2 here, right? And D4, right? D4 minus equals 1. Right? That's the data structure. And then we go through from the left to right. Look, and we have a counter like C. C added equals 2. We add the values here. Equals 2. So it becomes 2. And then minus 1. It will become 1. And minus 1. It will become 1. Right? Okay, so.
No, minus 1, then it's 0.
Oh, yeah. Minus 1 equals 0. Okay. So look. Here 2. What does it mean by 2? 2 is the numbers that appear on that vertical line, right? Right? So at the beginning it's 0. So when we meet the 2 is the most frequent numbers, right? So they are numbers that appearing twice. So it's 1 and 2 here. right? And here, if we're minus 1, it will be 1. 1 here. It means that at 3, number 3, it only appears once. There's only one number on appear once. Am I right?
Okay.
So we are looking for the maximum when we want to see. So this is kind of offset, yeah. So we go through the left to the right. We add it 2. We minus 1. We minus 1 for the C. So C will be the value of the numbers that appear on that moment. Okay. So we are looking for the maximum, right? If we mean the maximum, we remember the number at the point, and that would be the most frequent number, most frequent and smallest number. Okay, if there's a type. Is it a bit tricky to understand? Don't worry, I can explain more if you don't understand. A little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Look, I'm going to do this again. Okay, look. So let's do this here. Look, okay. An interval 1, 2, and an interval 1, 3. Alright? 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now D1, this is star. Yeah? I'm processing this interval. D1 plus equals 1. What does that mean? If I put a D1 plus equals 1, what does it mean? Plus equals 1. It means that at the point, at number 1, yeah, we are having a 1 integer, right? One more integer at the interval, right? Because that's what the interval covers here, right? Alright? So D1 plus equals 1. It means that, okay, at this point, I will go up, the number will go up by 1, right? And DE plus 1, look at the endpoint plus 1. It means that D3, at the number 3, the level will be restored to the previous. So it will be minus 1. Right? D3 minus 1. So let's take out this D is a dictionary, yeah? Default dictionary in type. So 1, the number 1 plus equals 1 will be 1. And then D3 will be 3 will be minus 1. At the beginning is 0, minus 1. And then look, another interval, D1 plus equals 1. Yeah, so another interval covers this interval, right? So D1 plus equal 1, but now D3, D4, right? 3 plus equal, 3 actually is 4. D4, E plus 1, yeah? Minus equals 1. Okay? So it's here, F3. Okay, so it's D1 plus equals 1, that will be becoming 2. Right? And then D3 minus equals 1. D4 minus equals 1. 4 will be minus 1. So this is kind of the change. The value is the change. The key will be the numbers on this axis. And the value will be the change. Okay? The change. So if I put it change, it will be easy to understand, right? So if I have a line sweeping. If you have a line sweeping from the left, the smallest to the right, just imagine a line sweeping. Yeah? When we add the change here. At 1, we change to 2, right? Alright? At the beginning is 0, and at 1, we change it to 2. So what does it mean at this moment? There are 2 numbers at this line moment. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I go to 3 minus 1. So the value will be 1, right? So what does it mean? So at this point, there are only 1 number covered, right? Which is 1, 2, 3. But look at the previous interval, 1, 2 is gone. It's finished here, right? And then I go to 4, another minus 1. What does it mean? It will become 0 again, right? It means no numbers being covered, being found in the interval. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now it makes sense, yeah? Okay, let's write the code. So we use the default dictionary, yeah? Remember, what's the what's the difference between default dictionary and an easy dictionary? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
It has this keys thing.
Yeah, key thing related to the key thing. Well done. So, if the key is not existent in the default dictionary, that's okay. The computer won't scream, won't complain. It will just give a default value. If it's an integer, it'll be 0. But if this d is declared is like that, if there's nothing here, and you say d1 plus equals 1, that's a problem. Because d1, the computer can't find d1 in the dictionary, right? It will scream. But it's okay if you define a dictionary as d, default dictionary integer. The key is not existent at the beginning, but the computer will treat it as 0, default. That's what default comes into play, okay? Okay, let's do it. Define most frequent number, yeah, most frequent in the interval. Let's say interval, let's say I, bigger I, okay. D equals default dictionary, default right? Int, because the value is the change and is the integer type. Okay, then we go through the numbers, right? For star n in I, okay, can you tell me what to do? I write one and you tell me, okay? ds what? ds what? Remember the change at the start of interval we need to go up, right? So what is that? Go up by plus equals 1, where down plus equals 1, and then 1 to drop. D1 minus equals 1. D what? E what? Is it dropping an E or the next one? Remember, look, 1 to 2. 2 still is the same, right? But when the 3, you'll drop, right? So it should be D what? Plus
1.
Yeah, next one plus 1. Okay. Now we have a counter. We need to have a counter, which is the we said the most counter, yeah, equals 0. At the beginning is 0, yeah. And then we need to go have this answer. Answer at the beginning is none, right? And then we go to the
0?
sorry.
Should also be 0.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's none will be because at the beginning, yeah. Or you can put it as 0. It doesn't matter.
0 is shorter.
Okay, good job. C equals 0. This is the accumulate, right? Remember, we have a line sweeping from the left to right. We use the C to accumulate the answer, right? Now we need to go through the the dictionary. So for what? I in sorted, right? We need to sort it. Sorted, remember? Sorted is the keys.
Yeah.
Keys. D dot keys, right? Keys. And then I have to accumulate C plus equal D I, right? Right? Yeah? So this is the number, this is the value, the numbers that appearing on that vertical line, right? So now look, if C bigger than most, right? What does this mean? If we're finding a number which appears more than the current one, right? So we set it most equals to C. And then we need, because the first time from left to the right, we find the bigger, more appearing numbers. That could be the answer. Then we need to update the answer. Answer equal what? What's the number at the point? I, yeah. And then return. Answer. What's the time complexity for this one? What's the time complexity? What's the time complexity?
N.
What's n? What's n?
The number
Of what?
Intervals.
Yeah, the number of intervals. What's the stakes complexity?
N.
Why?
Dictionary.
Yeah, we use the dictionary. Right now. So, make sense?
Well,
A little bit.
yeah.
So which part you not particularly understand? You do not particularly understand. I can explain a little bit more.
Well, I'm fine.
That's fine. So you sure?
Gonna wrap.
Yeah. I'm going to test you if you're confident. Yeah. That's okay. Come on.
Okay.
Okay. So look, I'm going to do what? I'm going to erase this bit. What should we do here? And what should we do here? Okay. So there are two parts. Here and here. Okay. Do you want to come out and write it up? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Remember, I have the interval here, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. So what happens if we have a line sweeping from the left to the right? DS. Yeah. Plus equal 1. Yeah. And then star for example is here. And then what happens when we need to go back to the what? Yeah? What?
1 equals 1.
Where then we go back. And then we need to accumulate, have a line sweeping, and here, have a line sweeping from the left to the right, and every time we store the change. So we have the C, which is the represent the
C.
current. Yeah. C what? We need to add a change, right? Add equal what? Which is the change? I is the numbers, and what change is available at what? What are you doing here? You store the change here. So what?
D.
Yeah? What? Yeah.
S.
What? I is the key, come on. I, yes. Okay, that's it. Good job today. Good job. Bye bye.